Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of October 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2013. I am Astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, check out Twerktober. It's on sale, and a new episode of One Feather and I in our week in advance is up now. And here we are, the big lunar eclipse in Aries. But more importantly, this is the activation of a very intense time in our lives as we are about to step into a very powerful 6 months. I'm just going to say it. It's actually an 8-month period, but it really begins now. You know, we are at a threshold, a crossing over, I'd like to say, and the energy is about to get really intense here. You're about to expose in your life deeper aspects of yourself you haven't exposed or you might not have been aware of. For some people that have been on the earth a long time, you might be coming back to some of these unconscious realms, and they are at a more mature round in your life, and you're going to have to really dig deep here and kind of go back into your past. And in many ways, we're all going back into our past. In many ways, we're all learning to identify with a new reality, identify with a new soul purpose. And this is the activation of that, as this full moon in Aries demands us to step into emotional feeling, especially with Uranus and Aries, you know, this reinvention, this courage to step into your true identity, whether that is everything you define your life as. Remember that this is an external reality that we identify with our souls internally first. Is your internal soul correctly identifying in the outer world? Are you really living in that balance and harmony? But more importantly, we have a Mars-Neptune opposition happening today, and we have a Mercury retrograde, which goes stationary and goes retrograde on Monday. So talk about the universe really playing a really big head game here, especially to be an astrologer and give a horoscope for this. There's so much happening. But what it tells me is, not only is Earth in a perfect position, a vulnerable spot in between the sun and the moon, which makes this an eclipse, which is why the ancients always knew this was a weird zone. This is a weird zone to be in. This is a very karmic zone. This is a very natural zone, okay? So it allows energies in the reality to really come through and the karma to really come in, the emotions of our past to come in, especially as we've got this big Jupiter in Cancer at 19 degrees, clicks into 20 this weekend and sits there. And it's been expanding us since I forgot, it was 6 or 7 degrees Gemini. I mean, we're talking about 30, or how is it? It's 20, over 40 degrees. Jupiter has moved and expanded. You have expanded quite a lot in your life up to this point. And there's still more to expand, believe it or not, here in the next couple weeks. But, you know, in many ways, this is what I see is a deeper aspect into really getting to the bottom of why maybe we can't live in the life we want to live in. You know, that's Scorpio. And it's going to take identifying correctly in your true harmony. It's going to take making sure that you're no longer not serving yourself crap in your life anymore. That's what this Mercury retro is doing on Saturn. It's business. This is us also with Mars opposing Neptune, having to face every little nook and cranny of our life, not able to escape. You can't hide in the closet anymore. You can't hide in your bed. The universe is going to force you now for this next 6 weeks to push forward in ways that you might have never found courage before in yourself. And this is highlighting all this. You know, you're going to have to get to the bottom and take the business of understanding what is inside you really want. What are these emotions that might be holding you back, getting you from what you really want? Are you misidentifying your life incorrectly? Are you identifying with a life that's keeping up with the Joneses or doing what your parents say or doing what, you know, I could play that question a million times. But the truth is, are you doing it? Are you really it? Are you identifying correctly? You know, there's nothing worse than seeing a fake or a fraud up on stage. Somebody who doesn't identify correctly, we all know, because we're like, oh, that's not really how they are, you know? Are you living as that role? And I think we have to all ask ourselves that question, myself included in every way. I mean, there's multiple aspects of our inner core now that are going to start to come out, and they're going to unveil what we really want, what we truly desire. This is us with Neptune and Pisces having to find ways to access our soul in harder than ever times. Aries energy always pushes that Pisces energy off. You've got Mars opposing it, which is pulling on our souls to be forward in this reality. You know, Neptune wants to be behind the curtain, wants to be behind the scenes, and we're forced not to. We can't. We've got Mars, which demands Pisces and demands Neptune to step into the reality. And in many ways, your actions now in your life, because this is a lunar eclipse in Aries, are going to be reviewed heavily by the universe. Are you taking action correctly? Is it creating the right lifestyle for you? And in many ways, this weekend shows you the rewards, if they are or not, and shows you if you're not living, you know, it's a good way to kind of enter the room and go, oh shit, I'm not living in my truth. My crap's messed up here. My crap is messed up. I am not happy. I do not feel good. I have to face this. I have to make adjustments. I've got to dedicate my life now to what I really want. And let go of what you've identified with, because there's not real balance there. And this has to do with relationships, as Venus is in Sag, trying to open the doors to the correct ones, or, you know, learning the right lessons in your relationships. But, you know, Libra's involved. The sun's in Libra. There's a balance. There's a partnership issue here. And with Uranus and the moon here in Aries, and this is a story we're going to be playing out all next year, as Aries is going to be a big part of the zodiac next year. Trust me on that one. But is this identity correctly giving you the life of harmony that you truly want? Believe it or not, this life could be exactly the way that you want it to be. Exactly the way you want it to be. That you could be the happiest you've ever been. That you, if you identify correctly and you live in this truth. You know, Scorpio and Aries is not easygoing. It's very demanding. It's very harsh. It's very intense. But it knows what it wants. And we can't hang on the fence anymore, even though it is a full moon, so we can't be over demanding. There is the balance of the balance, believe it or not, that we must balance everything out correctly in our life. But, you know, if you're going to balance out a life that's crappy with something else, you're going to need to make sure you're balancing the right stuff. Maybe you should take a crappy life off the scale and put a great life on the scale with something even greater to rebalance it out. I think that's the way that you should start to look at things, as this is asking now for these next 6 weeks to put you into the test of checking to make sure your identity is correct, because it's important. As we step into 2014, as what I am starting to see as one of the most powerful years of all time, is to really readjusting the reality correctly into the new age, breaking down the old systems, reinventing this new earth, coming into this energy. It is a complete breakdown, which you only in many ways can rely on your truth. You can only rely on your proper identification with your world and your life. That it won't be external with money or physical items that you can identify with to make sure you feel secure or happy. There's nothing really in that zone there. This is us in Scorpio digging deeper into an emotional, spiritual path, to make sure that that is found, because that's what creates the external. So you can start to unveil if it's just a fake house up when there's really nothing behind it. Or if it's just a model at a thrift store up, but there's no life behind it. When you look in the mirror and you look at your life now, what life is behind that now? And we find that in the next 6 weeks. And it's tested, and I believe in all of us, and I believe in you that you will get there and you will find this. But in many ways, you're going to have to face a lot. You're going to have to face your unconscious self. You're going to have to drive home into a reality and to readjust things the way that it should. It's been 8 years since we had a lunar eclipse in Aries. It's been a long time. So this one's going to come out of nowhere. Boom. And it tests those strengths. It tests those fires. You know? Do you have what it takes to go? You know, fire is the ether. Our souls are fire, believe it or not. It's invisible, it's hot, it's passionate. Ether is after fire, it's a flame. You need to see if your flame is on or if it's off. And that's the balance of the correct life. Because air fuels fire. And so, we must be correctly harmonized in really living in our truth, in connecting to an identity and a life that is in our truth 100%, that's in what you really, really deeply, deeply want. It's time to break away in these next 6 weeks from that does not serve you anymore. And with the ego involved, it's your job that you think is so great. It's your relationship that you think is so good. It's the car that you just feel like you can't let go of. It's some of the things that you just feel like you can't let go of, but you have to be willing to if it's not serving you anymore. So it's intense, and I haven't even talked about the weekend, even though this is all building up in a Mercury retrograde to get down to the truth, to get down to this, to rethink a lot of things, to open up to the past, to open up to new comfort zones. But it is this weekend that the moon in Taurus opposes all the Scorpio energy, that we're going to have to understand these feelings as best as we can, that we're going to have to let go emotionally of, and there's a lot to let go of emotionally, because Jupiter's in Cancer and the moon is really a part, and things that we hoard onto, identity issues, ego stuff that we're holding onto. This is all about a weekend of letting go, because we step into this week, as this will be the end of Libra, the Scorpio transit's about to happen. We got a Jupiter retrograde on the horizon too. So, I hope you guys really are clear on this dynamic, powerful time, that the eclipses are no joke. We are dealing with the nodes, we're dealing with karma, we're dealing with leads, we're dealing with identity, we're dealing with relationships of what you identify your life with. Every aspect. If you really want to step into the new age, you really gotta be who you really gotta be. That's the ticket in. You know, because this whole talk of the one requires us all to have a ticket. That we can't keep dragging everybody else's ass for everybody else. That we all got to drag our own ass in correctly. That's what a full moon in Aries is about. Are you able to drag your own ass out of bed yourself? Are you able to, no matter what connections get dropped, keep pushing forward? There's a lot there. There's a lot to find inside. There's a lot to re-identify with in your life. And this is kind of a story for a while. And this full moon, lunar eclipse in Aries is just the beginning of it all, of the next 6 weeks, because I guarantee you, you will look back, not only at this little time period this weekend, and whatever happens, and whatever your feelings are, and whatever you're identifying with, and see how that all changes, and see how it's all karmically connected to this weekend. Especially 6 weeks from now, as the Mercury retrograde will be over and we'll be out of this energy and we step into all this crazy new energy, you know? And we're going through a Jupiter retrograde to see all this. I mean, get ready. Get ready. You know, don't hide. Listen to your gut. More than ever, I beg of you to try your hardest to pray, to go deep into your soul, to meditate, because I guarantee you it's not as easy as you think it is. With this energy pressured on Neptune like this, and the way that it's sitting still, and there's so much other energy intensely and deep inner stuff and clouds that we are dealing with, and all these different pulls and directions and electricities. Try it and connect from within. Because if you're truly living spiritual, you're not living a lie. You're not living your crap. You're not living your fears. You're living your truth. I'm going to be gone for the next couple weeks, but I will be doing the horoscope, still this horoscope. I won't be doing the weekly ones. I will be doing the one with one feather though, because that's a great show. And I'm going up to Portland, Oregon. So if you're in the Portland area, I will be doing some one-on-one readings. I'm pretty much booked in Santa Cruz that I'll be at on the 22nd. I might be putting something together back on my way home. I don't know. Reach out to me if you're interested. And I also want to know who's interested in doing a retreat. You know, Heather Holt on here, this great client of mine, and she's a great person, put it out there that I should do a retreat, and I never thought of this. I want to get everybody's opinions, what they think I should charge, what they would be able to afford, where we should do it. I'm ready to do it. I got to live in my truth. It's time for me to step into my truth. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be doing retreats. I need to get out there more. And that's what I'm doing this weekend, I'm hosting a fashion award show, but I'm also getting out there and doing more one-on-one stuff. I need to get out there more. It's my truth. There's some other things too. And there's some secrets that I'm hiding in my closet that I'm getting out there into the world too. Woo! But, powerful stuff. But I want to do a retreat. I want to know where we think we should do it, who will go. If you're interested in going, email me, info@theleoking.com. I might even want, well, I think I might know who could help me with this, but there might be some people who could help me if they're willing to help too, and we can make this all work. It'd be really cool. I think a Leo King retreat where everybody comes and we do this amazing workshop and we all channel together and we all float out of this reality. No, I'm just kidding. Or we all just, come into our high vibration together and we really do some powerful work. I'd love to do it. And that's what I want to do here at the beginning of the year. So check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you want to book a reading for when I come back that first week in November. I appreciate all of your guys' support, and I will see you on Monday.